Right now, we want to continue our team coverage of the Bristol police officers killed in the line of duty.
And joining us right now is Cheshire Police Chief Neil Dryfe, who is also the president of the Police Chiefs Association. Chief, thank you very much for being here on what is really an awful day for Bristol and for departments everywhere. I want to start, if you could talk a little bit about that, about the family that really is police officers throughout Connecticut and across the country, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that hits very close to home for, every police officer anywhere in the country. There's some things that we all have in common, no matter what size agency you work in or what part of the country. But almost every single police officer at some point has had responsibility for doing two things: traffic stops and responding to family violence incidents. So an incident like this, which certainly at this point appears to have been precipitated by a family violence incident, is something that the vast majority of police officers in this country have gone on, probably very recently, depending on their work situation now. So it is something that hits very close to home for every single police officer in the state of Connecticut and around the country.
Without a doubt. What are the Police Chiefs Association doing to support Bristol as well as the other law enforcement departments all across the state? Because I have to imagine they really need a lot of support and a lot of help right now.
Sure, and that's been a multi-layered approach over the course of the day. Obviously, there was the instant response by many police agencies around the state of Connecticut last night, and then staying into the early hours of this morning. You certainly saw the outpouring of support and the escorts that were taking the bodies of the two deceased Bristol officers to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. But after that, we'll be making sure that the men and women of the Bristol Police Department are supported. I know that there are peer support teams on the scene in Bristol as we speak, and it will be for the next several days. Also, we'll certainly be making arrangements to ensure that the city of Bristol is safely patrolled by police officers, so that we can continue to make sure that that community is served while the men and women of the Bristol Police Department have time to decompress and grieve over this tragic loss of their colleagues.
I know you just mentioned, Chief, some peer support groups, and I would imagine the priority, of course, is with the families of those who were lost and the police officers who right now are on the job, have to continue doing their work. How do they do that? Take us through that.
I think most police officers in this situation feel like it is their honor and their privilege to go back out onto the streets and continue the mission that their colleagues lost their lives in support of. It would not surprise me at all if there was a long list of volunteer officers who went to Bristol today or to their own agencies and said, I will go to Bristol tonight if you need me to. I will go out on patrol in Bristol. It's a way for us to honor the sacrifice that these officers made. And again, it's something we would consider an honor and a privilege to do. So there'll be no shortage of Connecticut police officers willing to support the Bristol Police Department and go out and serve their community in the same way that the officers who lost their lives last night were doing.
It is incredible, it is selfless, and we so thank you for everything you do and all of our law enforcement across the state here in Connecticut working to keep us safe day in and day out. Cheshire Police Chief Neil Dryfe, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.